He is preparing to take some questions. You can imagine that there is a huge amount of sort of national interest speculation around the importance and speculation.
You came for 2 minutes at most, and I actually think a minute is fine. Am I audible? Some girl?
You're fine, liar.
You said your cameras are rolling.
You can come to us now.
You said your cameras are rolling.
Yes, come.
And
We're
you're calling me a liar.
starting.
Are they giving us you?
You don't want me? I can go. I'm full.
Look at the way everyone just looked at me.
Man,
We'll chat now, folks.
Sure.
Let's leave this guy in his show and then we'll chat.
Okay, Vuyani Pambo, that's the national spokesperson of the EFF. We expect him to talk very briefly about this meeting today.
Meeting of CIC, Julius Malema, and former President Jacob Zuma.
Well, thank you very much. I see you guys came to Nkandla even though you were not invited.
Live?
Even when Umam Sophie asked to come to the meeting, or that you guys must come, we said no through the president. But because we have to pay courtesy, because you travel so far to come to Nkandla, as we did, so we came here to say to you very well, the meeting went very well. The tea was nice and sweet and very hot. So, the practice of having tea is such that, it's a slow process. You can't just gulp it like you drink other things, some girl. So you have to take your time. But it was essentially what it was. It was a tea meeting. The president was meeting the former president. So the CIC, the commander-in-chief, Julius Malema, was meeting with the former president, Jacob Zuma, over tea.
So you now regard him as president and former president. How time has changed since you said this was a monument of corruption, Mr. Pambo?
Well, he remains a former president. That's a more legalistic sort of way of responding. And I'm making a point now. I'm saying the former president, Jacob Zuma, met with the commander-in-chief over tea.
So will former President Zuma be going to the State Capture Commission of Inquiry now?
Well, I'm not the spokesperson of the former president. I'm the spokesperson of the EFF.
Vuyani.
So I came here simply to allow me to finish with some girl. We came here simply to tell you that the tea went very well and to pay you courtesy.
Vuyani, you spoke about how we've traveled far, So you've come out with your good heart.
Yes.
To tell us about how great and wonderful the tea is.
Absolutely.
Will you take us into some confidence into what the discussions were around constitutionality?
Well, right now,
consider that we came from far, just like you.
I fully understand. As I explained how the meeting went, it was a meeting over tea, a very nice tea that we had with the former president. You know that black people do not need permission to meet. We meet anytime, anywhere, wherever we want to. We've got the constitutional right to meet. So we came here to meet the former president to have tea, as we were invited.
Mr. Pambo,
unlike you.
Mr. Pambo, what was the discussions, the substance of the meeting of President Zuma and Julius Malema? Was it about the Constitution? Was it about the State Capture Commission of Inquiry? We saw also the presence of senior counsel advocate Dalimpo. Was here in his capacity as a senior counsel or in his capacity as a CCT member of the EFF?
Well, he came as a plus one. He came accompanying the president, the commander-in-chief, Julius Malema, as I did as well. We were accompanying the president. That is why we're here. And the president was meeting with the former president, Zuma, over tea, as per with the invite.
What were the discussions?
Did he ever make an apology for what he's previously said about the former president?
Well, the tea meeting was about, the tea. They had tea together, and it was a meeting between the former president and the commander-in-chief. There was no agenda, as you know. As the invite said, let's have tea. So they had tea. There was no discussion around any other thing, around anything that you may imagining. So let's stop with the gymnastics of speculation and trying to be prophets. Bushiri is no longer here, so let's not try to replace him. So it's very clear and very important that we keep with the spirit of the meeting. The meeting.
What has changed?
Before they leave? Before they hop on the chopper, will they speak to us?
No. Tsidi, you were not invited. So there was a time and space. When we invite you, we do take you into our confidence. Right now, we're taking you into our confidence in the nature of what was the reason for the meeting. We came here to have tea with the former president. Did we not discuss that? We did. We said that in public. The commander-in-chief said it. He said, I'm going to go and meet the former president to have tea. And that's what happened. He never spoke about
them going forward for their relationship.
Well, if the former president wants to invite the commander-in-chief, if he has time, and the opposite being true, then they will meet for tea. There is no reason that should be pushed on us to say, you know, you need permission for you to meet with any other black person. So you meet with anyone at any time. So they met over tea. There was a discussion.
Isn't about permission, Vuyani. You announced it on social media that you're coming here, and it was very public. So now that you're here, you're leaving the speculation mill to keep running. You cannot say that we're actually coming up with things. Tell us then, at the very least, because your president has actually described the former president in many different ways. What's changed so much then, Vuyani, that you actually want to come in a chopper to come see the former president?
Well, the only thing that has changed is that the commander-in-chief, Julius Malema, met with the former president to have a cup of tea. Something unprecedented, something that is unexpected, like the coronavirus. So they met and had a cup of tea. There was nothing more than that.
So the negotiations failed. Whatever they're trying to convince him to do didn't work out. That's ultimately what you're saying. There's no victory here.
There was never a negotiation that was communicated. And you know this for a fact. There was never a thing or an agenda that was put up. The agenda was tea. A cup of tea. So I think you must be patient, like people are drinking tea, because you'll end up burning yourself with these speculations that you're making.
Vuyani Pambo, between you and I, we know we're both political animals, but Vuyani,
They're going to be the last question.
okay, Mr. Vuyani, you know that in politics, there is never a coincidence. In every meeting that takes place, there is an agenda, there is a road ahead that is going to be reached. They say there are no permanent friends, there are no permanent enemies. That is permanent interest in politics. Are the interests of Julius Malema and former President Jacob Zuma converging in this current political conjuncture?
Well, I mean, I don't think you're asking me anything. You are trying to be a politician, some girl, and you're not at this point. You're a journalist. So don't say me and you were politicians. No, stop that thing. It's very simple. Well, the commander-in-chief came to have tea as per the invite. He has honored that invite, and he has come to have a meeting with the old man. So they just had tea with the old man. So I came here, as I said, just to give you courtesy.
Let's speak about what the EFF and KZN has actually said. They've actually not speculated. They've released a statement basically saying that this meeting is to try and consolidate a power base here in KwaZulu-Natal, and that they needed to meet with the old man to sort of get a blessing from him to do this. So this is not speculation. Your own organization in KwaZulu-Natal said that. Please, may you respond.
Well, the EFF is a unitary organization. The upper structure is binding on the lower structures. I'm telling you, as a spokesperson of the EFF, national spokesperson, there's no other spokesperson besides Delisile after me. And I'm the head of communications. I'm communicating this officially now to say that it was a meeting about tea. There is no other voice that should speak after that as telling us about consolidating anything. The only consolidation here was a mobilization towards having tea. We just had tea. Now we're demobilizing. Yes, absolutely. Now we're demobilizing.
You need to give us more details.
Between the former president and Julius Malema, how were they communicating with one
How
another
was the
in a
tea?
private space?
How was the tea?
Well, it's very simple. I started by explaining that the tea was very nice and sweet and hot.
Would you say that
But I'm still answering a question. Don't be excited. I'm saying, the mood of the meeting was a very nice one. It was cordial. It was a meeting of black people. And it ends there.
There was a strained relationship between Zuma and Malema before. Would you say that they've made now smooth those ruffled feathers?
Well, you're right. It was a meeting between the president and the former president. So that meeting was between the two of them. It was about tea. They had tea, and it ended there.
What's the importance of the presence of Tony Yengini, the ANC's NEC member, who's a very strong supporter of former President Jacob Zuma and a father figure to Julius Malema, who's seen as someone who guides them alongside Mzwandile Masina and all the other young leaders there are in Parliament?
Well, I mean, I did say in the beginning, and I think you do know my title, I'm the spokesperson of the EFF. I do not speak for Babu Tony Yengeni. I speak for the EFF, and it ends there. So thank you very much for coming, guys. I hope you enjoy the scenery. It's very nice here. It's different from what we know from, the township that we come from, the, Bazi, Johannesburg that you know, Gamgele. So I hope you enjoy the scenery. We're about to go now. Thank you very much. We were just paying you courtesy. And
so the monument of corruption, which used to say is a very beautiful scenery in Uganda. As they used to say, the monument of corruption seems to have that beautiful scenery in Uganda. Vuyani
Pambo there, the spokesperson, the national spokesperson for the Economic Freedom Fighters, taking questions.